What's going on, everyone? It is your boy Nickool here, your solo YOLO World Series Warzone winner. Today I'll be breaking down my thought process on what was going through my head during the solo YOLO. We're going to be going down each part of the video and breaking down these certain moments. So here we are dropping in, and honestly, whenever it comes to solo YOLOs, and especially a lot of people, LTVs are usually the way to go, and they're really easy, have a lot of cover built into them, and are great for endgame if you're able to get them. So my strategy here was going for one of the LTVs kind of in the back of the map. As I jumped out, I noticed so many other people also going for the LTVs. Some players were even smart enough to use the zip underneath, and I did not think it would be faster, but apparently it was. All those players that took those zip, absolutely unreal idea there in getting to the LTVs faster, and whoever won them. So my plan B ended up being landing on a separate part of the map. So my second part of this was just land somewhere out of the way where I didn't think there would be any amount of people. Also really big for solos is using recon drones. Using recon drones, but you will say later, could come with disadvantages. But most of the time, recon drones are a really easy way of grabbing free information. There's this moment right here where I audibly hear somebody landing in. Right here, you're able to hear them land in. And this is when I'm like, okay, I can't just be running around now. I'm going to be giving out information. This is when I call on that recon drone to get information on where that player is and where there might be other players hiding. Now, when you do use that recon drone, unless it gets shot down by a player, it lasts there for a little bit of time. So you're able to keep on checking in and out of that to make sure it is still clear. I also got insanely lucky here, the fact that there was just a personal loadout crate where I was able to get my loadout guns. So I end up chilling here for the starting portion of the game, kind of waiting until loadout kind of drops in so then I can make a move and when zone kind of tends to pull away. When loadout drops finally dropped in, that I thought I would be okay. I kind of used like this little chest here as for cover, but to my downfall, it was not enough cover, and as soon as I hit that recon drone, that second recon drone, someone immediately shot me, and there just wasn't enough time for me to get out of it. So going into the Gulag, we versed FaZe Swag, and Swag is a very good player. He has very incredible gun skill, but we outplayed him, and this is how. Now initially in Gulags, the way it works, especially in competitive, is whoever usually breaks the person's armor first is usually more than likely to win because they have a bigger advantage into those gunfights later on in the Gulag. Now, as a keyboard and mouse player, a huge advantage that we can have is by just throwing smokes all around the Gulag. When a controller player is in a smoke, they lose aim assist, which means we have a better chance of winning. So when we initially challenged Swag, he's able to take our plates down. It's hard to see, but I was almost at a third of a one plate left. This is now when I start throwing smokes in and start playing to my advantage, trying to get anything I can. This is where I think Swag kind of screwed up in the Gulag. Any audio cue is an audio cue. At this moment right here, when I'm tossing the smokes, I don't know where he is. So when I go prone here, I don't know where he is until you hear him cook that nade. As soon as he cooks that nade, I hear an audible cue on where he is in the Gulag, and I have a straight picture of where he is, and I immediately chow that, and we don't lose that. Now, for my regain strategy, usually in games where there's a loadout and you didn't hit it before, so it's still there, usually it will always spawn you around that loadout. So what I wanted to do was land back on my original loot. I don't think there would have been enough time for the player to kill me to run all the way and loot my body. Immediate idea was to fly straight into my original loot, but unfortunately, as soon as I landed in, it all motherfucking de-fucking spawn, because this game is dog shit. So now I'm back to square motherfucking one. So we gotta loot up a little bit before we're able to kind of work that loadout. And once again, in solos, I'm kind of just using all the audio cues that I can to the best of my abilities to make sure if I'm hearing someone ratting out around me. Now at this moment, the only person that I could hear was the guy inside the bunker, and that it could have been the guy that either killed me or someone else. But honestly, I wasn't trying to stay to find out. So I knew he was in the bunker, so I had some time enough to hit that loadout and just get out of there. Now, I've had a lot of people talk to me about and ask me what kind of class I use, and let me tell you the reason why. A riot shield and the MCW conversion kit. Now, the reason why I chose the MCW conversion kit is because one, it has great medium to long range, and since I'm using a riot shield, I only have an option to choose one. A lot of people normally run an SMG and an AR, which has the benefit of both. AR for long, SMG for close. But with the MCW conversion kit, especially since I'm running a riot shield, it has the great mobility of having kind of the both. It still has great movement, great damage, and is great for medium to long. It's perfect for what I needed since I'm running a riot shield. And then I have my smokes and my drill charges. The reason why I chose drill charges is because since I knew a lot of people would be having LTVs in the end game, if you just throw one drill charge at an LTV, it will put them down to 1 HP and if not knock them out of the vehicle. And then for the perks I'm running, I was running Mountaineer, EOD, Resupply, and a High Alert. High Alert was for my surroundings. If a player was looking at my back, I can quickly turn around with the riot shield and have my back covered. Resupply to keep on resupplying smokes for endgame and drill charges, so if I have any extra space in my backpack, I'm able to store those right away. EOD, once again, if I get stuck by something, since I'm running a riot shield, if you get stuck by an item, you will go down, but since you have EOD, you will not go down if you get stuck by lethal. And then Mountaineer I actually didn't want, but I ended up having in there. There's no really big reason why I need a Mountaineer. It's just something that I had on. Now that we finally got our loadout, I'm just trying to play zone for zone here. Zone for zone and making sure that I'm playing my life in order to be there in that end game. Once again, you want to use every single thing that you find to your advantage. I find a portable radar, my inventory is full. I just want to toss that thing down just so I can immediately grab info right away. Now we ended up running across this player and I immediately ran away because there is 120 of the best players in Warzone from the whole world that are playing in this one lobby, all trying to win $50,000. It doesn't matter how many people you kill, as long as you win the game, that's all that matters. So I'm trying to eliminate any chance that I have of taking 1v1s unless it's to my favor, where I'm able to shoot them off guard. But we were able to see each other at this exact same time, and that was a challenge I did not want to take. So I used my opportunity to run back the other way and cross the street and get out of there. Now here's another scenario. As soon as we rotated in, once again, as soon as you get into a building, especially if high circumstances, you want to use everything that you have available to you to your advantage. Like for say, this suppression mine. You always want to put that on the suppression mine. If you have it, you're not going to use it in game, so might as well use it now. It won't hurt you. So if someone does run in that door, they will get suppression mine, you'll get that info, and you'll know how to play it for later. Now here I heard another player running by. I once again don't want to try to show presence. I do not want to be taking any gunfights unless it's to my advantage. I also have a balloon to rotate for later, so I don't really have to worry about early rowing. Now here's this one scenario where I had the advantage. I made the guy one shot. There's no need to push him. I knew he would run away, and I don't need to get more accurate than that. So I thought, this is my perfect time for me to put down a balloon, because that player is not going to be shooting me. He's going to be immediately trying to get back those plates on and playing his life. So this was the perfect opportunity for me to put down a balloon and rotate more into zone. Now at no point did I want to try to pull my shoot here at all, because all these players have incredible aim. As soon as you pull that shoot, the likelihood of you getting beamed out of the sky when you pull a shoot is very likely. So I only pull my shoot to the last second in order to have the best chance of survival. And every single zone, we're kind of just waiting every time for the zone to pull in and move to see how we play things. So we were camping here for a whole of ending of the third zone. When zone finally ended, we had to go pretty far. So my first thing on my mind was rotate immediately. Try to get there as soon as possible before all the other teams that are outside of zone, which there were still 77 players up. I wanted to be one of those players that were already in zone and already had a spot. And I take it very slowly. I take as much time as I need, make sure to look at all my surroundings, and that's why I'm running high alert as well, to know if someone's looking at me from behind, some angles where I'm not really kind of focusing on. Now, another player previously ended up putting this balloon here, which I also ended up using to rotate as well. Now, once again, I do not want to pull my shoe here at all to cross that river. I'd rather just fully land in the water and worry about it later. We saw another player land in the tunnel. Usually that's not really a great fight to play, so we ended up going right. And then a random player decides to land right in front of us, so we immediately throw down a smoke because we're using a thermal. And I've seen a lot of comments of people asking what kind of thermal I'm rocking. So this specific thermal is the FSS Hurricane, and it's from the Fallout bundle. The only way you're able to get this specific reticle is if you buy the Fallout bundle. Now, once again, we do not want to take any fights. If he shoot, we were there for a quick second just in case he wanted to chow that and be a little bit crazy, but we got out there immediately afterwards. Now, whenever you see an LTV, especially like this in endgame, there's usually always a player in the building right next to it that's either trying to protect it, but that's how you know a building is already taken when there's a vehicle right beside it. And this was my perfect opportunity to try and steal it. So right here, you see that he's the guy that owns the LTV previous to me is probably playing that building. As soon as he hears someone get into it, he's going to bust open that door. So what I do is I throw a drill charge at the door where he might be camping, and then I toss a smoke to cover me. Therefore, there's no way for him to damage me while I'm entering the LTV and getting the hell out of there. So the reason I kind of chose this open spot and not like an actual building was because since I'm using a riot shield, I am able to give myself cover, and I'm using the LTV as cover, and this is a better way for me to protect that LTV. Now, I did hear someone zip down, but I couldn't really tell if he zipped down or he zipped back up. But I heard footsteps in the building, so I wasn't trying to like look to see where he was. So we're playing the outside of this building until we are forced to move or make a play. The reason why I destroy the armor box, or any boxes for that sake, is because as soon as you hit them, they're kind of pointless, other than the fact that it does more damage to you. So if we're a player were to throw a Semtex right on top of it, it ends up doing a increased amount of damage because that armor box will blow up and then will affect you more, and then it would hurt my LTV and it would hurt me. So I immediately destroy it, and I'm always storing more smokes. Because I have restock on, I store as much things as possible when I'm kind of just chilling. Now, a player just landed in the AO. I have no idea where he is, other than the fact that I heard his parachute pull and he might have been above me. Other than that, I have no idea where he went or where he is, other than the fact that he's above me somewhere. Now that zone pulled, I'm not in the greatest spot. I wouldn't have wanted to play here till the very end when it closed, because I knew all these people in the bottom side zone would have had to rotate up, and this side would have been very congested. And I'm using this LTV for my rotation. This is my vehicle that I need to rotate with. As soon as I heard that smoke bounce right next to my LTV, I knew someone was trying to make a play. Now, this got a little bit chaotic here. 2 people went for it. 1 person hopped in, and there's 1 person that I was shooting at. So I have no idea. So my initial play, get a little bit of damage, but as soon as I see the LTV coming off, I immediately throw a smoke there and hop in the back of this truck. This might be the most badass thing to do, and it has a lot of balls to do this. To hop on the back of a moving truck, shoot the driver out of it, and steal it and start driving away to start rotating. It must have been the most perfect time where that second player that I was shooting at kind of just ran the other way through that smoke as I was hopping on. So I didn't really have to worry about him. I just had to worry about the guy stealing my LTV. Now, this other person shooting me put me down to no plates. So I had to drive into a little bit of zone. Make sure to use that third person view that you get when you're driving a vehicle to make sure it's safe. And we're right straight back into it. So I got extremely lucky here. There is just this body of loot that's completely unlooted, but I wanted to be on this side of zone because I knew this side of zone would have the least amount of players from where I was playing before. There was no one that could have rotated from this side because it's the non-congested side of zone. And then all this free loot was just an added bonus. And as you can tell, high alert's coming off, so I need to make sure I'm protected if I'm going to loot all this. Put a trophy on. It immediately gets shot down. This guy's popping my tires. We toss the smoke, get those tires back up because we still need this LTV. This is our cover, and this is our mobility for the end game. Now, I even found even more PDSs, which is added benefit. If you don't know what PDSs is equipment, basically kind of like a trophy system, how you toss it down. But instead of like a trophy system, it's able for you to survive in the gas. You're able to toss it on the gas, you're able to breathe in outside of the gas, and you're able to make out of gas plays. Now, when I immediately drove here, I had no idea there was a person just chilling right behind me until the audio footsteps alerted me, positioning behind me, and I was able to luckily react just in time to turn around before he was able to get his first couple shots off. Now, I have no idea how this thermo grenade destroyed me, but I was able to toss the smoke, play in the smoke, and able to heal up. And this guy just had the worst timing. I was able to beat him down with 2 hits of the riot shield and then finish him off with a gun. Now, the only thing that I really had to worry about here was anyone rotating on bottom side bridge. There was no one that would have crossed on my left side bridge because that is too open. There's too vulnerable, and the only way they could have crossed is if they threw smokes or a vehicle. So I knew I didn't really have to worry about that top side of zone and just have to worry about looking at the bottom side of bridge. May I remind, this guy had 2 more PDSs, so I ended up having 4 PDSs total for endgame. And I decided to sack smokes because I thought smokes were more important in the endgame rather than the drill charges. Now, I knew I also still want to play this side of zone. I'm not sure where. I just know that this side of the zone has the least amount of people, which means I didn't have to worry about having to look at my back the whole time because I already knew it was clear. No one else could have came from that side of zone. I strategically moved the LTV into a position where I had my backside cover and then I had also front cover, and I only had to look at my back. I just had to make sure to do a little bit of damage to make sure people knew I was here and they wouldn't push me. Now that my LTV was fully blown up, I don't have any more rotation. All that I have is my riot shield and smokes. And zone kind of pulled left side, so I was going to use that to my advantage of rotating along that left side. Now that the LTV was going to blow up again, this forced me to make a move and start rotating deeper in the zone. So I again toss all my smokes to make sure to rotate and just keep on making sure that I'm full HP and just get into a spot where I think is safe enough for me to play. Now there was a player playing in that bottom window building, so I made sure to avoid that for a second. I ended up finding this rock right here, which ended up being perfect. The guy on the left that you saw there just a second ago, he jumped behind those containers. So that was one thing I had to work at, but I had a little bit of cover. We spotted a kid behind, ended up killing him, and I used the smoke to grab that loot in case he had more smokes, more PDSs I could use for the end game. Now after we looted him, we found out that he didn't have any more smokes. So we are forced to try and play up to the building because there's no more cover for us to try and play in the open. Smokes are the only reliable cover that we could have used. So if we didn't have any, we had to play up to the building. So my thought process was, since there's a guy in there and I have drill charges, I'm going to throw my drill charges to force him a little bit back so he doesn't have to peek me, so I have time to move up. So I tossed the drill charges, force him back, and then I didn't want to get aggro. I just want to make sure that he wouldn't push me from the back when I'm playing outside of the building. So I make sure to put a cluster mine down. The cluster mine was able to get put down, and now that I know there's a cluster mine there, I know that person's not going to be able to run out of that building unless that cluster mine gets activated. As soon as that cluster mine gets activated, then I know that player is trying to run towards me from that back end. So there's another angle that I don't have to worry about because it's covered from that cluster mine. Now there was players playing that spiral staircase. Bunker called. All you have to do is look at that mini map to see where it spawns in. Sometimes it gives you a notification when you're nowhere near it. So as soon as that bunker gets called in, I look top left mini map. I know it's not going to hit me. I don't need to worry about it. Now this was probably the most luckiest part about this end game. I'm pretty sure the specialist came from Hisoka, which he died right above me, and it just plopped right in front of my lap. If you don't know what specialist is a perk in the game where it gives you every single perk in the game. It's pretty OP. So the fact that it just landed right in front of me for me to take was just an added bonus for me in the end game, and might have been the reason why I won. So now that we have this, we have specialists, we have a self-res, we have a full regular gas mask, we have 4 PDSs to work with. We are stacked for this end game. There's only 7 players left that we need to worry about, and this is where the rear strategy comes in. Zone pulls bottom. There's someone above me. I wanted to be one of the first people at the bottom, so I didn't have to worry about the people rotating above me until later. So I decided as soon as the zone started and the airstrike was called in, I used this as my opportunity to start rowing down the hill. So now this is where I decided to use some of my PDSs. I got a couple shots off. I hear lots of people rotating above me. This is when I decided to run back and start using those PDSs to regain my health and just use it as a staging ground for later. At this point, there are 5 players left. Though my only problem right now are the people above me. This person got absolutely slammed. This turns it into 3 other people remaining, 4 players alive. Now I make sure to turn around and loot them because I did see a gas mask earlier, so I made sure to turn around and pick up that gas mask so I'm able to survive in that gas a little bit longer. Throw out another PDS, and we are chilling here for a little bit. So there's 4 other players remaining. I still have 1 PDS left. I smoke up to try and go in. Since there was someone behind me, this forces me to jump in the water. That was my only form of play. I didn't want to throw another PDS here because then that player had an opportunity to just push me right away, and I was already a little bit hurt. So my only force of action was to jump in that water. And I did have that smoke to cover me a little. Now this person got absolutely shit on. It's 4 people. I knocked him. He has self-res, but I did not want to be that person to get the full off of him because I knew there was only 4 people left. So I just PDS, played my life, heal up back up to full strength. And by this moment, 3 people remaining. One of them was the guy that I just knocked who had self-res. And whenever you are in 2 other teams remaining, usually it is whoever initiates the fight and whoever third party is at the very end who ends up coming out on top. And that's what ended up happening. If I went for that full on that person that I knocked, I would have been on the other end of that stick, and I would have been the one coming in second if I didn't full him. He ran directly to the person that came in second, and that's when I was able to make my route. And that was when I was able to make my move and grab the win. Let's watch it. There's only one place he could have been. I saw him in the storm, and I just knew we had the bag secured.
Let's fucking go! Let's fucking go! Holy shit! Let's fucking go!
And man, oh man, does that still give me goosebumps to this day. I hope you guys all enjoyed this little breakdown. I hope it wasn't too confusing. I did ramble quite a lot about my breakdown and kind of my thought process of it. But I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below whether if you would have done the same plays or maybe you kind of had a different thought process towards it. And I appreciate you guys so much. Appreciate all the congratulations and all the support since then. Appreciate y'all. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys all later. Peace.